boy.
Hi friends, I just finished doing a little track with young Max here. Not too bad. Again, this is the early stages of tracking for this guy, and I positioned myself behind him today as opposed to just behind his shoulder, where for the last few tracks I've been situating myself. And it was just to really see how he would handle the distance between the two of us. And they do recognize the distance. In the very beginning, we're right here beside the dog, so he's going to catch me in his peripheral. But today, as you notice, I was right behind the croup or the rear end and guiding him with the actual line down the track. Now, what I would do, you saw there was a few times where he came off the track a bit, and all I do is I gently pull up on the line, which kind of blocks him and limits his movement in the way of casting or quartering. Once the dog comes back on the track and he starts to move forward, then I start to put a little bit more relaxation into the line and go with him. And so moving forward, that's the process that we're going to take now, staying behind him, blocking casting by pulling up on the line gently, releasing the pressure as he starts to move forward on the track. And we try to keep pace with the dog. He is going to pull a little bit. That's normal. We don't mind it for now. Later on, how I stop a lot of the pulling is once we get to the use of the articles on the track, now he's going to be searching out for those articles, and that's where I tend to use really tiny articles to really get the dog to have to search with a deep nose and to become a little bit more meticulous with the behavior. But for now, we're going to allow a certain amount of pull in the way of the track itself. The track length is not long. Like literally mine is about maybe 36 paces at most, no more than that. And I don't have bait in every footstep. So what I've been doing now is actually placing the bait in every third footstep. And when you're setting the bait, once again, you want it where it's odd numbers, not even. Because what will happen is if you do even, 1, 2, 3, 4, bait, 1, 2, 3, 4, bait. Notice the bait is always on the right side because they're even numbers. So we do odd. So 2, 3, bait, 1, 2, 3, bait. So now we're going to get this type of behavior from the dog because the bait is offset. It's not on one line. We don't want the dog literally tracking like this, line tracking. We want footstep tracking where the behavior is like this. So once again, once you start to spread out the bait where it's not in every footstep, and again, we start with 3, what'll happen is you're gonna get it where it's like this. And we're hoping through habit forming, that's the type of behavior we're going to get later on once we start to remove the bait from the actual track. When the time comes where we start to incorporate corners, what will happen is 5 steps leading into the corner, there's going to be a piece of bait in every footstep, just like that. Now, once I get to the corners, I tend to teach what we call sharp 90s, where it's like that. And the reason being why I choose that as opposed to doing a rounded corner is it teaches my dog right from the get-go to indicate loss of track. So now he's not going to panic when we do run into a situation where, okay, for whatever reasons, it could be a divot in the ground or we might get some wind swirling where the dog may lose the track for a moment. He's going to learn to search for that other leg of the track calmly. And that's why I teach a sharp 90 when I'm now introducing the corners. And I tend to use also a marker. So this little ribbon attached to some washers, as you see there. If I'm making, let's say, a left corner, or a right turn, I should say, I would drop my marker to the left. And then I would proceed to make my corner. And the reason being is so I know exactly where my corner is. I also have markers for my articles. So for my corners, my markers are actually purple ribbons. For the articles, they're actually these ones, the pink ribbons. And it is so important to know the lay of your track. It's actually the track itself that teaches the dog how to track. Your handling comes secondary. So remember, when laying the track, know where everything is. You can take a log, whether you write it down or put it in your phone or just use memory with your markers. This way now, if you have to, you can help the dog. Remember, minimum effort. You don't want to get into overhandling. That becomes, let's say, a distraction for the dog. So by knowing where everything is ahead of time, it makes it easier for you to guide the dog down the track. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. You might also want to check out my new book, Instinct to Excellence. It goes through the whole psychology and the various techniques that we use in dog training. With that said, guys, take care.